All right, we're already recording. So this is episode 7 of the Disney Culture, and it was Michael. Michael's joining us this time after taking a nice long nap the last time.
My bad, that's my fault.
It's all good, it's all good. But this one, he's the one that initiated this one too, because he was like, hey, there's kind of a lot to talk about, isn't there? Yes, there is.
Too much.
There's all kinds of stuff going on, and we even got news today as we record on this Wednesday. Yep, we got some news today about some stuff kind of going on. So the big one, of course, is the reopening of not only Disneyland, but every damn theme park. And truth be told, I recorded my regular podcast on Sunday, and we had talked about that a little bit and said, oh, Universal hasn't announced a date. The next damn day, Universal said, here's our date. So I was like, of course. Anthony knows that curse far too well. Record something and the next day, like, oh, here's the information you were talking about in an extended segment that you didn't have an answer to, and now here it is. So that's what we have. Michael, do you happen to have that? I know you put up a graphic that had all the dates for the parks. Do you have that, or do you remember what they all are?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, let me look.
I collected half of it. Yeah, I collected half of it, but I mean, pretty much everything is opening. Most of everything that's done in the food festival, and maybe a week after the park will open. Everything else, Magic Mountain's opening up. I would say April 3rd, because pass holders are doing it a day or two. Then you got Legoland having their own pass holders, and April 1st to the 15th. Then open to the public. Then you have obviously Universal. Everybody's waiting for that one. Disneyland, we want it early, but it ain't gonna happen. Let me see what else we have. Belmont Park should be open up on April 1st. Seaworld will probably open mid-May. Their food festival lands near the beginning of May. So pretty much it's like you open early, or you open once your previous festivals are planned or over.
So, Universal actually announced it as April 16th. So and that was just yesterday that they announced that. So we're about 2 weeks away, and the tickets for that go on sale April 8th. Did you drop Knott's in there? I don't remember if you actually said Knott's or not.
Knott's hasn't announced nothing, but there ends in May. So I would say, like I said, right after their food festival, everybody probably get an announcement for the May's like mid-April, I would say.
Yeah. So Disneyland, since we tend to focus on that a lot, is going to be April 30th. Still no ticket announcements at all about how that's going to work. I really can't imagine them not doing any kind of a reservation system because demand is just so damn high for it. I don't know. Can you see anything else other than that? Although the guidelines did come out, and the guidelines said that you could actually do walk-up tickets. Did you catch that in the guidelines that got released? It said you could actually do walk-up tickets. You didn't have to do a reservation type thing, but I still don't see that happening at Disney.
It's suggested, correct?
Well, yeah, but again, just the demand for Disney would lead me to think that they're going to do some kind of a reservation like they did in Florida. The means are already there to do it. They know how to do it. You can't. So somebody in Michael's group today just put up said just a question: how many of you think you're going to go to Disneyland as much as you did before? And a bunch of people were like, yeah. I was like, damn, you got some money to play with. They probably didn't go as much as me. You're probably looking at 2-3 times a year for some of these people, but me having gone kind of almost every week and a couple of times during the week in the summertime, yeah, even though I'm frugal, I can't afford that. I can't afford to be doing that if we're not going to see a
Well,
a
why
huge
would
price
you do
break.
that anyways to pay per admission? You're not going to do that. That's not the point of single admissions. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that until you have passes. So, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to say, well, I'm not going to go that much. If obviously you're not going to go that much because you have to pay per visit.
Multiple people, not just myself.
Right, exactly. So I mean, it's like obviously whoever's going to go is going to be the people are going to go, and then they're probably not going to go again for a few months, if at all, until passes come back. You're going to get the people that are going to go to get it out of their system real fast. Get that Ronto wrap, get that stupid Monte Cristo, and then they're going to get out of there, and then they're going to be like, all right, peace out, see you in a few months when passes come back.
So I was actually wondering about that because I've been talking about that. There's enough hype around it, and especially now that we're knowing it probably can open because Orange County is about to move tiers again. here in California to 25% capacity instead of 15. They probably will have the availability to do that. I mean, as near as I can figure, the hype is enough because if you put a reservation system in place to make it through summer completely, like there's enough hype to say, oh, okay, I'm going to try to get my thing. I'll go through summer and figure that out. What happens in the fall? What happens in the fall when kids go back to school? For the most part, and Gina and I would know a little bit about this, but for the most part, next school year, whether it be regular K-12 education or even college, it's going to pretty much be full in person. It's going to be really close to that, if not that. That's what everybody is talking about right now. Pfizer today announced that their vaccine is 100% efficient for kids 12 to 15.
I saw that.
And now they're looking, from 6 months to 12, how efficient it is there. The trials are going for that. So we're going to see a return to normal for those that want to do that. And this is all politics aside from any kind of vaccine passport or anything like that. That's just the way that that's just the way that we're headed, where it's going to be that. But still, in the guidelines that were released through all the tiers in California, because there is no green tier given the clear 100%. Okay, this thing's gone. I don't think we're going to see that for a while, and everything still restricts to California residents. How long do we go until they have to introduce some kind of a passport again to keep that revenue coming? Because if you're not going to get guests from out of town, being San Francisco Bay Area, Central California, stuff like that, if you're not having people from Arizona, Illinois, Texas, anywhere coming into California and you can come into the hotel, I guess, if you wanted, but you can't get in the park. How long until you see, okay, we need this revenue to come in? Can we bring back a pass? I say we see something, or we start hearing stuff before Christmas.
I agree.
That something is coming.
I'd say if not that, it's after Christmas. It's January at the latest, because January before 2005, actually January through February, March of 2005 was the last, or 2015 was the last time we had a real off season, anyways. Right, Michael?
Yeah, I would say.
so that would be probably the scenario you're looking at, is if you actually look at a return to a traditional off season like we used to have, then yeah, you guarantee that if not fall, but definitely after the holidays for sure, they have to get that passes back out there. Otherwise, you're not going to get the kind of pass through in the parks as you would from just ticket holders.
Yeah, I don't see that. I see that to my advantage, because I still think having sunset the other ones, damn well the payment plan is not coming back. That's not coming back. And
you love using that term, huh?
Yeah, I just like to use sunset. I don't know if any of you think this as well, but I think this could be the end of grad night, or a huge restriction on grad night, like cutting it back even more, because they've been cutting it back little bits anyway, because those kids don't spend money. Those kids don't spend money other than their ticket. So why not blame COVID and just say, oh no, we want to service our day guests to do this, and just say we're not having grad night, and then just kind of let it slip through the cracks and forget about it.
Schools are not choosing Disney.
It's too expensive.
It's so expensive that there's a lot of schools, like Magic Mountain has given our kids so much more for the money that we switched to Magic Mountain, and then we were doing a senior activity day at Disney, but even that got too expensive, so now it was Universal and Magic Mountain, and Disney was already pricing them out. So yeah, this is just a really good opportunity for Disney to clean house.
It was bad at the point by the time the last grad nights were, they had up to 5 different packages that the schools could choose from, just because there was so many different options and so many different ways that they could either price them out or be like, well, here's your bare bones, take it or leave it.
Yeah, no, I think we are going to see some kind of an AP. I think we'll hear about something, I think, at least before the end of the year. And I think it would be prime time if they wanted to dump grad night. Now is the time to do it. Call it COVID. Let some of the other parks have it. More of the guidelines that we went over, because the full guidelines kind of came out. Some interesting stuff. I want to get your thoughts. Again, we're not going to see any California resident in the theme park till probably about 2023. Like, to be honest with you, I think that's the soonest we're going to see people from out of the state of California come to any of our theme parks. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm all right with that because I live in California, and we'll probably be able to take advantage of whatever pass holder program that Disney throws our way. But the other one was, and we talked about this on our last podcast, was the restrictions on the rides. So there was some bad, when you look back at it, there was some bad wording in what the state had released the first time, where we talked about, oh, you can't have anything indoors. That's not exactly what the guidelines actually said. But I looked back at the way it was worded and stuff, the news articles that we had looked at, as well as what the guidelines actually said, and it was kind of blurry. But what it turned out to be is that you couldn't be inside for, it has to be, well, at this point, 15% capacity might change with the tier change.
We said that.
Yes, but it's
I brought it up.
It's not, it's 15 minutes inside. Yeah, I think you did actually bring it up, but that's actually what it got clarified to.
Based on the capacity plus time.
Right.
I thought it was plus time only.
Because that's why I said, no, it was capacity plus time, because we talked about certain rides like Alice in Wonderland and other things that might qualify because they go in and out.
Yeah, so ones that are going to have an issue that come off to the top of my head are Pirates is going to have an issue because of how long the ride is, and Rise of the Resistance for how long that ride is, because all of the queue for that ride is indoors. There's a very short period of time.
Same with Millennium Falcon.
Yes, same with Millennium Falcon, but the thing with Millennium, and we'll see with Rise of the Resistance. No, okay, I'll tell you the difference. You didn't get a chance to ride Rise, had you?
No, sadly.
So what I have been with you riding Smuggler's Run.
Yes.
There is that large queue outside. Right. So, and then you've got that back area that was supposed to be the extension of Oga's in the back. So you could have
could bypass the interior queue. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If you bypass the interior queue, you could probably make that work, and it shouldn't be an issue. Rise is a little different. Now, Rise was built with the intent to have it be like a 3-hour wait or something.
Right.
For that ride. So there's an extensive queue outside for Rise of the Resistance. Problem is, the ride itself is very long indoors. That's where the problem is.
Depends on where you start.
You have to start in the... Have you ridden Rise, Michael?
No, but unfortunately, too many spoilers. But if you start the time from when you enter the shuttle, you're over 15.
Yeah.
If you start from once you get inside a building, the show building itself, and start the process, because I'm pretty sure they're going to rush you in to the pod. It's not going to be like a maybe 1 or 2 people distance, but they're just going to push you in right away and then get the ride going. That's what I think. But it depends on where you time it. If you time it from right there, from when you get in with Kylo, I think that's maybe 14, barely making the 15. But I know if you start from the shuttle from the outside, that's past 15.
But that's part of the ride.
Yeah, then if you count from the shuttle, then it's over 15. Then again, they had it in the warding and Disney Parks block.
Yeah, so we will see. It depends what they're going to do. But the show actually starts when you see Rey and BB-8. That's the first little show building. Then you do exit outside to get into the shuttle that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So they may be able to count that as a stoppage in the time. If they're inside, then they're outside, then they're inside again. So Disney may be able to try to find a loophole. And if anyone can find a loophole, it's the mouse.
It's going to be tough to say because if I have seen stuff right, when you get into... Now, Michael, you may help me up here because you've probably seen a little bit. Not Admiral Akbar, but the species is gone for me. Admiral Akbar species is gone.
Mon Calamari.
Mon Calamari. So when you get into the ship with the Mon Calamari,
yeah,
you do some kind of physical movement, don't you? Because you enter...
Yeah,
the floor, okay.
A slow rotation.
It's a slow rotation right there. So that's the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
You'd have to find a way to bypass that because that's a good 2-3 minutes right there. And then the next time that door opens, which is the same door that you actually entered, that's where you go into the building with all those pictures of all the stormtroopers.
But then again, we have to look at Walt Disney World because a lot of images of what we're going to expect is what we're looking at over there, and they pulled it off.
But they don't They don't
Florida
have
had
restrictions.
different restrictions.
They don't have restrictions like California does.
Yeah, Florida
That's
might as well not have had restrictions.
Yeah.
Because they're so stupid over there, and they weren't even enforcing shit half the time. Except for, cast members enforcing and then getting punched or attacked.
Yeah.
Spit on.
Maybe a little bit different.
Let's not compare Florida to California at all.
You're probably barely making that time, but you'd have to rush people through. You would have to find a way to rush people through that ride. And
the park opens, let's just say, what, is it 25 or 35?
It's going to be probably 25 because we did, in Orange County, we did hit orange tier.
So 25 would be like the old AP night party crowd, right? The capacity of that would be 25, right, man?
I mean, depending on what you, yeah, maybe. I mean, how many did you think was at a party? 10,000?
Somewhere around there. Because I heard it's 25 capacity, but I've never heard it reach that high. And there still was a lot of room, walk-ons, and maybe waited less than 5 minutes.
Some people have estimated capacity of Disneyland from anywhere from 80 to 105,000. So, I mean, it depends on who you want to believe, because I originally heard 105,000, but, yeah, I guess it depends. So, I mean, you're looking at basically 25% would be anywhere from 20,000. No, 20,000 to 25,000 would be quarter capacity, which is a lot of people, but it's, probably like just slightly under a Halloween party.
Which is not bad, especially when it was in Disneyland.
No, as long as everybody's not trying to get their pictures taken with the same person.
That's all those AP parties were anyway. Those were the longest lines you would catch at an AP party, was trying to get a damn picture with Stitch or something.
I know. I don't ever want to have to bring up that villain's queue.
Right.
Oh man.
You know the one.
Going back to the guidelines, those were the ones that were there. I don't think I want to lend any credence to the stupid when everybody thought, oh, you can't scream on a ride. Really? That's not even what it said. Like, you're reading into crap that's not there.
But that's all clickbait. Like, that was just to get people to click on the articles. But it came from the Japanese thing from eons ago, because that's what Florida was talking about when Florida just opened too. There was this whole thing about, scream within your heart and all that baloney. But nobody ever said that, and nobody ever regulated that. But it got everybody talking, it got everybody clicking. It did what it was supposed to do.
That organization even came out and released a statement that's basically said, that's not what we said.
Exactly.
Like we said, transmission is done through speaking, screaming, singing, yelling, but you're going to have a mask on, and you're supposed to keep your mask on, so.
As long as you have a good mask.
There you go.
Disney is, I've been to downtown Disney a few times, and I would say the majority of people are adhering to the rules. Disney won't let people in if they're not wearing a proper mask. They try to get away with all those mesh masks, whatever. People want to bend rules. Disney has been pretty good. Now, do you still catch people with their nose out or their mask off for a minute? Yeah, I was at downtown Disney and I watched this cast member get into it with these two women. I use that term a little loosely. They were an interesting duo, but he was going after them because they didn't want to put their mask on. Like he was on it.
Good.
I give him credit because he didn't get paid enough for what he had to do, but I think Disney is going to be better. Like Disney's really good at kind of enforcing that to the best of their ability. And I think that the majority of people who will go will listen. You're never going to get 100% compliance, but Disney's good about kicking people out and never letting them back.
So unless you have anything else to say about the guidelines, that's a good transition, because I was actually just at downtown Disney the other day. And I'll tell you what I did there, unless anybody wants to bring anything up about the guidelines.
I just want to say, just to throw it out there, that I would have absolutely no problem if Disneyland required a vaccine passport. Boom.
Yeah. Okay, so I went to downtown Disney the other day, on Monday, the very beginning of my spring break. And I had decided, first of all, this was the first time that I was actually able to hang out with my brother for an extended period of time, as we're both fully vaccinated now, and the risk to everybody that we were concerned about is now super low. So we decided to take my kids, my nephew, and my brother all in the same vehicle. Hasn't happened in a year. To go do the egg hunt, the egg extravaganza in downtown Disney. It's the first time that he had been to downtown Disney. I had kind of tried to get him to go at Christmas time because I know I've gone several times here, but he was just a little, I don't know, man, numbers are starting to get high again, so he kind of backed out on me, which is fine. But we did. We went and we checked out. I got there, parked on the harbor side, of course. There's no other way. Park on the harbor side. It's the best deal you can do. The line on that side, it was a couple of switchbacks on the harbor side, so it wasn't that bad. They started to let us in and go through security a few minutes before 10. So we got through the security just after 10. I said, I'm going to hightail it to the Star Wars store because I had not seen the Star Wars store yet. So I hightailed it from one end of downtown Disney all the way to the other because I wanted to avoid the long line and the parking on the other side over by the hotels. And got in line. It really wasn't too long. The cast member kind of said 30-minute wait. I looked at my brother, looked at the line, said this is not a 30-minute wait. Not even 15 to actually get in the store. Anthony is right. They just kind of used the very beginning of that store. It looked cool. All the stuff they had, the decor and stuff looked cool. But it was really small. And a lot of the merchandise is the same merchandise that you can find in Batu. There wasn't a whole lot of new different stuff. But I wanted to see it. I got myself, I'm going to wear it at work. You'll see it this week, Gina. I bought one of those, I'll call him Baby Yoda, or Grogu, Gogurt, as she refers to him.
Gogurt. He's Gogurt. He's so cute.
One of the little shoulder ones.
Oh, how cute.
I bought that, so I figured I'd wear it in class this week, behind my thing, so the kids on the computer see it and the kids in front of me see it. I bought one of those. Anthony asked for that sipper last time we had talked, so I did get the sipper. They had those. Most everything else was the same kind of stuff they had, but it was nice to see. It was nice to see all this stuff that, like, oh wow, man, I kind of missed this, going in and wandering around Batu and doing that. So we did that, checked it out. Of course, we bought a couple things. Came out. They have Race Speeder outside, so you can get a photo op with Race Speeder. That's outside. Then decided to do the egg hunt. There's a dozen eggs hidden all over the different stores in downtown Disney. So we bought our map. They're $8 a piece. I bought all 6 of them, Anthony. I bought all 6 of them.
Those went up in price significantly. Weren't they $5 at one time?
I think they were $5 or $6.
They were $5 for a couple of years, and then I
Disney's
think last
gotta
year
make
was
back
like
their Rona money.
I don't know how much you
$8
can
for a
see
map.
here.
Oh, they're cute.
They are, I think, actually a little bit bigger than the previous ones. I think it is a little bit bigger. No, I have some of the other ones. I think it's slightly bigger. This looks like right on the regular plastic eggs like you'd buy at Walmart. Same size-wise. So they're cute. They've got Mickey and Minnie in their little spring outfits, and then Donald and Daisy in the same, and then Chip and Dale are the rest of them. So they've got those. We hunted them all. My kids always have a good time doing that. It's a tradition. We've been doing that for years. I'd wear them out because we'd go do both parks in one day. I'd never actually done the downtown Disney one because there was always one in Disneyland, one in California Adventure, and one in downtown. Well, walking all over one park and then the other to do that. By the time we were done with that, kids were tired. Like, you don't want to do the downtown Disney one? No, Dad. Okay. So we didn't. And it's the same eggs, but I wanted to find them in both parks. And then the Small World set, I actually got that too. It's right here, the Small World set. And I'll put up some pictures. I should put them online. But it's pretty cute. They had these two, so I bought those. The last time they had a egg hunt in Disneyland, it was Haunted Mansion. So I was all about that one. But I thought this set looked cute, and it's a Small World, so. They got one that has the clock on it, so I was like, damn it. I kind of have to have that. So I did get that. We did that. We stopped and got you have to space yourself out to even find something to eat. So if you sit down and you're trying to eat or drink, you find a spot to do that. A lot of the restaurants, honestly, we were there, and if I wanted to eat in downtown Disney, like a full meal, could have done it. It wouldn't have been a bad thing. Any of the Disney type properties, that was going to be a chore. But if I wanted to go to Tortilla Joe's or Napolini or any of the, like the pizza place, Uva Bar, it was not going to be a problem getting seating. It wasn't.
We walked into Tortilla Joe's. There was no waiting when I went because I went downtown Disney a couple weeks ago, and Tortilla Joe's was delicious.
It did get a little bit busier because like I walked into the confectionery. to get some cookies because I gotta have those Mickey Mouse cookies. But then when I came out, by the time I came out, there was a line of 3 or 4 people. Like most of even to get into World at Disney, we weren't even in line 5 minutes. Like it's such a big store. I got there first thing when it opened. We were there till about 1, and had stopped for a snack and a drink and stuff like that. Not a problem. It's really not. Most people are compliant. I did see Gina was talking about cast members telling. Yeah, I saw cast members reminding people, and there was nothing crazy. They just walk by somebody and see somebody. Hey, excuse me, sir, you're supposed to have this or that. Or I actually saw some little girls who were walking by eating an ice cream cone or something, and the cast member kind of asked them, "Oh, who are you with?" Oh, so okay, walk up to them. They're supposed to be sitting down if you're doing it. Okay, so the people just pulled over in a spot that was available and finished their stuff. And I took a picture in front of the gates at Disneyland, and I guess the lady behind us, her mask was under her nose, and the cast member was talking to us, and then all of a sudden, "Excuse me, ma'am, yeah, you have to have that over your nose, thank you." And that was it. So, I mean, super safe place to be. I spent more money than I should have, as always, but I had a discount. Wow, they let me have my discount. And I asked about that, because did you see that email about, the pass doesn't work itself anymore. They want it in the app. So it loaded in my app. I thought I had read that I needed both, but they just needed to see my pass, the app, on the app, and my ID. And that's all they needed. And then told me, see, it expires here on the 30th of April, but once past that, they're basically going to let you continue to get your discount. So something else will load in there. Because
they want you to spend money there.
Of course. I swear she told me until they announce a new pass holder thing. That's what she told me.
My husband bought a shirt from the Star Wars place because we went in. I really like those dolls that look like they're handmade. Like, those things are super cool, but what am I going to do with a stuffy? Like, my dog would eat it. But my husband bought a couple of shirts, and I wasn't paying attention, and of course one of them is hand wash only. So now I get to wash his shirt in the sink because it has rubber on it and like a sewn like metal piece on it. So it's not even like I can get away with throwing it in a laundry bag and throwing it in the washing machine. Like, it is a true hand wash only shirt. And of course it's his new favorite shirt. So I'm like, I'm going to teach you how to do this.
I don't even buy mugs at Disneyland because they're all hand wash.
I can handle a lot of things, but I got a very busy life. I don't have time to be like hand washing a Disney Imperial shirt or whatever.
Oh, is it the one that has the little does it have the little
rubber thing on it, like right here?
They look like chiclets?
Of course. It's cool. It's a cool shirt, but like it is a true hand wash only shirt. So I'm like, you're gonna wear this like 5 times, so don't stink it up because I'm not washing it.
Hey, so speaking of, here's a good transition for you. So I was there on a Touch of Disney day, and
I was too.
People were coming up, and it wasn't too bad, and I missed the line that where people gather in the Esplanade. But when I went to go take my picture in front of the gates of Disneyland, because they opened that up, they took the rope down because they want us walking on that side because they gather everybody in the Esplanade to enter to the gates of DCA. So we're there, and some lady strolled up, like, is this the way to get inside? And the cast member was just like, no, ma'am, Disneyland doesn't even open until April 30th. And she said something about the Touch of Disneyland. Oh, that's a California Adventure right across the way here. And the lady had no idea. Like, she completely had no idea that it was even in a completely different park. I'm like, how do you not, you got tickets for this and you don't even pay attention to that? I just found it a little like, that's a little weird. Okay. Like, how do you not know that?
How many Facebook groups have you been a part of?
Yeah, Michael. I mean, I know, but
how
like,
many little people have you met in person that are that stupid? Come on,
it
Dan.
just was like,
Come on, Dan.
But you knew what you were buying. Like, I guess.
But I
guess, like, what time is the 3 o'clock parade?
Don't pay attention.
Yeah,
I really feel that some people just were like, Disney, and I've been inside for a year. Just buy it, do it. Like, let's just go. And because I would love to go to some of the theme parks when they open, but there's no way I'm gonna try to fight for a reservation to something on day one. So
there was an article, and I can't remember if it was the LA Times or what. It was an op-ed piece, but that basically said, "Oh my God, it's going to be impossible to get tickets for Disneyland opening day."
All the vloggers are going to take they're all on like robocalls to try to get in. I don't think I would want to go to Disney on opening day. I mean, I think you'll eventually be able to get tickets for one or two of the days, but I don't want to deal with, like, I saw everybody and what they dealt with to try to get tickets to A Touch of Disney. I don't want to go through that. Like, I have other things to do. I would rather go.
Yeah, it's called work.
And just not deal with that. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, the Wheel of Death, and then you were waiting in line virtually for hours. Some people only waited 5 minutes and were able to get tickets right away. Some people were waiting hours and couldn't get any tickets. Like, I don't got time for that. But it would be nice if Disney had a different way of doing it, because I just don't think that the way they have it is efficient. But they know they can do whatever they want, so
Disney do something efficient.
Right?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I almost feel like sometimes they have the best intentions and think, okay, we have the capacity to handle this, and then they're still overwhelmed by how many people actually want to try to do it. Because that seems to be what happens.
It shouldn't surprise them. I just want to look at them and go, bless your heart, but how do you not know this?
I think...
How do you not know that this is going to be crazy?
Whoever's in charge of that needs to be like, this is what we have. Okay. You think we'll get there? No. Okay, we should probably double it then. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what it should be. Double whatever you have, because you know it's going to be like that. Speaking of which, you did Boysenberry, no?
I did. I did do Boysenberry Festival.
Let us know what happened.
It was a good time. I think 40 was the price point. So now they're charging 45. They're not sold out as much as they were before. I think 45 was a little rich for some people's blood. I will be honest, the food wasn't as good as some of the other ones I've been to. I almost felt like some of it was haphazard, or they were like, oh, well, they'll just do it at this point. It
probably was.
Yeah, some of it was delicious, and it was the best, it was great. Like, they stepped up their alcohol game at Knott's. Some of the alcoholic drinks they offered were spot on. It was delicious. I think that there was maybe a problem with consistency with their food, because I went and got something, and then later we got it again, and the quality wasn't the same. So I think quality control could have been a little bit better. But in terms of like compliance with masks and social distancing, again, my husband and I, we were joking, if we started a YouTube channel, it would be called We Open Parks, because that's what we do. We do not close. We get there early. We leave early. So we didn't really have an issue too much with kind of the craziness of it, but it was a really good time. But Taste of Boysenberry was good. I don't think it was their best. I think Halloween was their best, and Christmas, because I got to go to Christmas before they shut it down again. I think that was second. But I think Taste of Boysenberry was all right.
Halloween was good.
Yeah.
That's the one where I had them 2 sausages.
Hey, everybody talking about, while you're bringing up that, and I'm going to talk to Michael in a minute about Seaworld. And bro, the irony of eating fish at Seaworld is not lost on me, but okay.
I always say that every time. I'd be like, I told somebody the first time I went there, I was like, why are you eating fish at SeaWorld, yo? And I was just tripping out. And then I think the second time I got my pass, I've been craving like fish and chips big time. And I was like, I didn't get a chance to go anywhere in San Diego. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to get it at SeaWorld, yo. And that shit was bomb.
I mean, to be honest, then, if by that logic, should you only eat vegetarian at the safari park and the zoo?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have no chickens, so I think you're okay if you eat chicken.
What do they eat there? But they
cows.
Got poultry. They got poultries of some sort. I mean, you got ostriches, big ass ostriches, and
Yeah, I think the last time when I only get with the pretzel, so I saved some knife.
What I was gonna say, and then I'll let you talk about your experience at SeaWorld, was did you see that a lot of people that went to the Touch of Disney, the actual food itself, they were saying that you only got like 3 items for your $25 worth of credit? And isn't that what we said? Like, how much is $25 going to actually buy you in food? Not a whole lot. Multiple posts.
$25 doesn't go that far at Disneyland. I mean,
not
if
for
you're,
food,
if you're
no.
getting and that's if you're getting a full, portion. I mean, because like the people, because I'd like to. What was the portion on the Monte Cristo that they gave?
It's half a sandwich.
Half of a sandwich. I mean, Monte Cristo is pretty big to begin with, so half a sandwich is to some people would be a lot of food. I don't like Monte Cristo personally, but if I did, that would be a pretty good bite. But I mean, especially as long as you don't have to share with anybody. But I don't know. I mean, I guess. I mean, you know how it is. You're not paying for much. I mean, the portions at Food and Wine have slowly gone down while the prices have gone up. So I mean, what do you really expect?
That's one thing I will say about Knott's is that they continued to have large portion sizes through all of their tasting events. So like you did not leave hungry. If anything, you left with, Tupperware, taking some of it home.
Eric kept taking to-go boxes. I've seen pictures.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'll give them that. Like, I'll give them the fact that their portion sizes were well worth it. You still got the same amount of tastings. You got like 5, for the money, and their drink sizes, even their tasting sizes, like I got a Cosmopolitan. It was a nice sized drink. Like, and then, we got the carne asada pizza, and it was a nice slice of pizza. You didn't feel like deprived. It didn't seem like it was a teeny little portion. So it was, like when you got the Dippin' Dots, which in my opinion, the Dippin' Dots was the best thing at Boysenberry Festival, which is kind of depressing, but it was so good. And you got like a full size of it. So I'll give them that. I'll give Knott's that for sure. And it was great that they had live entertainment. Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies, they're kitschy. I love them. They were live and it was great. It was so great to see live music again.
The former Billy Hill and the Hillbillies.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Defectors.
Well, they got fired. Hold on, they got fired.
Yeah.
I know. No,
fired.
I'm making a joke.
Making
a joke. No,
I was sad about that. Because that used to be
Yes.
on those warm days. You'd be like, we're gonna go catch Billy Hill and the Hillbillies. Why? Because we're gonna be inside the Golden.
Yeah, no, that was
horseshoe.
unprecedented when they got canned.
Yeah, that
was bad.
You
knew that was the beginning of the end of entertainment, and then it was literally the end of entertainment. So maybe Disney was doing them all a favor by letting all the entertainment go before COVID even happened.
I don't know. The last D23 that I went to, the one that didn't get canceled, they had touted Billy Hill and the Hillbillies, and it was all like the secondary players. Like it was not Kirk Wall. It was all the secondary players, or like that's the B squad of Billy Hill and the Hillbillies. Looking at those guys, I'm like, that's not the original crew. I was like, that's defecting from Knott's, because I think they were working at Knott's by then. I thought that was kind of funny though. What I had said when you had to step away for a second was that $25 that Disney gave you didn't go very far as far as food. And that's what I saw a bunch of people talking about. Like, I saw people that enjoyed like the fact that the games were free and that there were some photo experiences, but there were quite a number of people who were like, this was just ass. Like this was not worth what you paid for it. And yeah, we kind of went insane that, hey, I'm not sure this is going to be worth what you're paying for it, so I didn't bother to try. But if people had a good time, that's great. But I knew $25 in food was not going to go far. You were going to spend way more. And I'll be damned if people weren't there for the entire 8 hours.
They were, and I thought Disney did it interesting because if you wanted from the booths, you could go to one booth and wait in line for 500 years, know exactly what you wanted, tell them what you wanted, prepay for what you want, then hold your receipt all day, go to all of the booths, and they would highlight what you got. And then you didn't have to wait in the secondary booth line. You could just go to the pickup window. I thought that was an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, people complain about that too.
I'd be afraid of them pretending that you already got your food or doing something stupid, or I don't know. I would be too nervous doing that.
I would be concerned that I would lose the receipt because
That too.
I lose everything because I have lovely ADHD and I can't remember anything in my life. So
I mean, I am meticulously organized in my pockets, so I probably wouldn't lose it. But I just be more worried about them being stupid because, there's I'm not gonna say that cast members are always lying to you, but some of them are stupid.
having worked at Knott's Berry Farm in foods, it's an interesting place to be. I worked funnel cake by the log ride, and that was the busiest funnel cake in the 90s. And man, that was a tough gig, let me tell you. Some of my coworkers were interesting. I mean, in our defense, most of us were in our late teens, so I don't know a lot of kids who aren't, a little off in their late teens.
Especially that worked fast food.
Oh, God.
I mean, as somebody who worked with a lot of 20-something-year-olds at Universal Studios nigh on 20 years ago, I definitely could attest to the fact that, to working with those people. And yes,
well,
it's very
you're
interesting.
Making minimum wage. You're at an amusement park. You're like I was slinging waffle batter. Like we weren't exactly looking at this as like, this is my future career and I'm going to do the best I can.
It's funny. There's people who I worked with that are still there.
Oh, I believe it.
So that's.
So we already gave Michael some shit for eating fish at SeaWorld, but what did SeaWorld have, man? I'm going to be honest with you, I don't pay attention too much into what's going on outside of our general area. So what was it that you went to and what went down?
Obviously, every year around this time, they have their own food festival called the Seven Seas. It's just pretty much just like every other theme park. If I compared to Disneyland and Knott's and what I've seen at Universal, I would say it's in between. They have their moments and portions, and then they have their little Disneyland-sized portions as well. Due to the pandemic, normally there'll be a lot more food and options. And probably due to, restrictions, I noticed that a lot of food is already pre-made super early. They had supposedly a sushi roll. We got it pretty early and the rice was frozen hard. And it was probably maybe a 17-year-old that made it. And it was the worst thing I ever had in my life. But overall, the food was pretty decent, you know what I mean? For pass holders, the lanyard would consist of 10 slots for $60, or you can get 15 for $75. If you're a pass holder and you get the 75, you choose the 15, you get 3 extra tabs for free. So we were rocking 18. It was me, my girl, my oldest daughter, and my youngest daughter. And by the time we were there almost to the whole park, and by the time, I would say around 6 o'clock, we had 2 tabs left over out of 18, which we did pretty good. We were pretty full. We had the options to go at their little booths everywhere, just like at Disneyland or Knott's, or they had certain selections inside their own restaurants where you can use the tabs as well. The one thing that people love about SeaWorld is that with your tabs, you can just say, okay, I'm going to buy 10 tabs and I'm going to buy 10 different alcohols. And there's no limit on that. You can go and just go get drunk around SeaWorld and you're good to go.
All into one of the tanks. Got it.
Yeah. The drinks were pretty good. Some were strong. Some were just it felt watered down. Or the whoever was mixing it wasn't mixing it properly. Beyond that, it was when I went was this past Friday, which was the first day of their spring break. Little things opened more and more as we have indoor attractions finally opened, which that can be a mess in the afternoon, which actually there's 30, 40 to 50-minute waits for some of these indoors. And there's times where not a lot of people are spread out. They look pretty on people's butts. Some of the lines for the food actually went pretty fast. There are some people that, walk around with a mask under their nose. And there's some that look privileged that they'll just walk around, the whole family, everybody just has a mask around their ears hanging off or hanging it on a lanyard or they just don't have it at all. A lot of times not people enforcing it. You do get those ones that are, on the books, more leads, go and tell somebody, but like let's just say during the show, you can tell that there's some people just have it off and you have the employees on the side just chit-chatting it through the whole show. Nobody walking around, but they're holding a sign saying that you're supposed to have your mask during the whole show. And they're supposed to be walking by every so often presenting that sign. But you see half the crowd not even wearing masks. That's a good event. You know what I mean? It's something different. You gotta do things on the outside. The food was great. The drinks were great. Crowds were good. Like I said, a lot of families. And basically spring break is here because it is getting packed more and more. Same as Safari and the San Diego Zoo. So wherever you're going, I don't know. So far I've seen crowds popping up. I don't know if you've seen it at Downtown Disney or not. But yeah, I was noticing it's been a little bit busy.
I fully anticipated the weekend to be. And in fact, somebody I know that works at in downtown was saying, Monday was expected to be busy. It wasn't that bad. I didn't run into anybody, didn't notice that anything was any crazy. I told you I saw some cast members, reminding some people here and there, but nothing bad. So I was going to ask you, so they have shows going on at SeaWorld, yeah?
They do have pretty much 3 shows. They have the sea lions, they have the dolphins, and they have the orca show. Mm-hmm. They just presented pretty much like a show for kids where they bring out animals, and you have Elmo and Abby coming out with Big Bird later on. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, once they opened the indoors, all the pretty much more shows started to happen. But ever since they labeled it as a zoo, they were able to do shows. Every other row has red stickers, and in between, either like in one row, you could have 2 stickers on the side and the center gap. If you skip a row, you have the stickers in the center and on the sides that you're able to see. So everything is spaced out pretty good. But when you get some late bloomers, they'll try to sit wherever you want and not pay attention to the red strip, and things can cause like that. But the shows have been going on since actually last year.
So the indoor stuff is stuff like the penguins and where all the sharks are at. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those were excluded for a while, especially last year. They didn't open up, mostly because of their tier system. But like I said, as soon as we hit into red, they were allowed. And so as soon as Friday hit, that was the first day that the indoor attractions were open.
Well, that's cool. That's cool that you got to do that and they're doing stuff. The food sounded like it was just okay, but
yeah, it's a hit and miss. Like you can tell with a lot of people posting and videos, like, ooh, something looks good, but mostly like out of like let's just say they have 150 plus items, including alcohol. Mm-hmm. I probably got like around 10 of the same thing. I had the barbacoa tacos. We had like 6 of those suckers. That's how good it was. So, and then we had to go for the lobster, white cheese lobster, mac and cheese, but we had that twice. So there's just stuff you had to come back to. Some of it just
though, was it better than Baker's barbacoa?
I don't know. that was pretty good.
I was gonna ask him if we took the lobster from the tank.
Yeah, it's funny because every time I post videos, there's like 3 big crabs, and then there's a lobster, another one. I'm like, I can't wait to eat that food. And then some people are like, why are you going to eat them? I'm like, dude, that food is good right there.
Big Dungeness. Today, the news broke today. Did you guys see this? That the Blue Bayou is now going to be able to sell alcoholic drinks.
Yep.
I'm not surprised, but I'm just not.
It's just the next step. Long, and then next, we're within 5 years of people walking around Disneyland with drinks.
Until I said something, it didn't even dawn on me that Oga's had the alcohol, and I have partaken in quite a few alcoholic drinks from Oga's.
Partaken there. I mean, it's going to be the same thing, most likely. You're going to have to drink it in there. You're not going to be able to walk out with it, obviously. Yeah. It's going to be part of your dinner, and you can drink it. I do like that it's a hurricane. It better be a good hurricane. If it's a shitty hurricane, I would be mad. But I would really be willing to try it because I have heard hurricanes in New Orleans, so they have a lot to live up to, especially since they ruined the mint julep a few years ago. So, I mean, I'm not going to have that much hope for it being good, but I will try it because it is something I like. Yeah, this is the second step. This is it. I mean, it was always that Club 33 was it, but it was private, so it didn't count. It was upstairs. It was out of sight, out of mind. It didn't count. Oga's, it's hidden in the cantina. You could pretend it's not there. It doesn't come outside. This is going to be another example. It's going to be hidden, but it's going to be more accessible. More people are going to be. I bet the more common person will go into Blue Bayou and eat in there than will go into Oga's Cantina. So it's making it more real. And then the next step will be, I don't know, probably some other sit-down place. But it's going to slowly make its way outdoors. And then that's when I don't know, then that's when you're just, it's greed. And you're making Walt turn in his grave.
I was trying to find a damn way to throw that out for you. I have been sitting here listening to you. That was only a half rant. That really wasn't all that good. But sitting here listening to it, how can I throw in Walt's going to roll over in his grave for this one, just for him?
You're welcome, Dan.
I was waiting for it. I was trying to throw it everywhere.
We live in a vastly different society than Walt did. There's a lot of mommy culture cycled around drinking, and not that it's healthy, but there's a lot of people, like when I used to go to Disneyland, a long time ago, like a decade ago, we used to joke that we would get on the monorail and go to Liquorland, and we would go to go to the hotel and have a drink and then come back, right? Because there's no alcohol in Disney.
We all know what you're talking about. You're all talking about the neon cactus. We've been there.
But it was just it was almost an event. It was oh, hey, let's take a break from the park.
Let's right.
Go on the monorail. Let's go have a drink, and then we'll come back, and it's totally cool, and it's not that big of a deal. I personally like the Blue Bayou. I mean, obviously for the ambiance, the food it's fine. But I mean, I wouldn't put it at a top star restaurant, but it's good food. I like the atmosphere. It would be nice to be able to sit in there and have a drink while people scream at you to throw them rolls from the boat. I mean, good times. We'll throw them hurricanes from the boat.
I thought she was going to say the wine drinkers who pretend they're not alcoholics. That's what I thought she was going for that one. All these wine drinkers are just going to pretend they're not alcoholics. Okay.
You know what?
Right.
I mean, but we all know that those aren't the people that I'm talking about.
No.
I mean, you can pretend all you want, but yeah, no, it's not the wine drinkers that are going to be the problem. We know who the problem people are. It's the people that's always been the problem. It's the people that are the problem at Magic Mountain because there's alcohol is flowing. It's people that have been problems at Knott's Berry Farm. The times that Universal has tried it. I mean, I'll tell stories to this day about Halloween Horror Nights 1998, and that was a debacle because they were selling bones of alcohol. If you know what a bone is, how big it is. No, bigger than that. No, they were bigger than that.
Whoa, for the side of the screen.
Their yard.
You can't fit it in the screen. That's how big they were. And they made it 2 nights, and then they had 5 fights. And they were done with it. So
killer, yo.
Hey, it's those margaritas you get in Vegas. It's that size.
Yeah, dude, they were bigger than the girls.
Hey, you know what?
Knott's, we didn't have alcohol, and it was our saloon. I worked in a saloon, and I was 17 years old because all we served was pickles, popcorn, and soda. And I mean, I could definitely tell the difference between a park that is selling alcohol and a park that isn't. You can tell the difference. Same with SeaWorld. When you go to SeaWorld and they have all of the beer and people are drinking there and
wonder why.
Some of the people are cool or the wine. Some people are cool when they drink and they get really happy and a lot of people don't. And then they're the ones that have issues. And my thing is, it's these people who work in amusement parks, having been one, are not paid enough to deal with drunk idiots at a park. And Disney is great because they do ban people from their park and you're never stepping foot again, and they have ways of making sure you don't. And there's stories of people who have gotten banned for life. But a lot of these places don't. And I don't know, like, personally in my family, we don't drink if you're in charge of the kids. So, like, Disney is not where if we have kids with us, we're not drinking at Disney. It's just because we're there for the kids. So.
Well, also, every one of us knows someone who's part of that Cove Bar life. So, I mean, we all know what those people are like. Right, Michael?
Do I? They're still there drinking at the Taste of Disney.
And I think, like, if you're going and you're having one drink or two drinks, like, you're not the problem, obviously. It's just I want to meet the mindset of somebody who's going to go to an amusement park and plop $300 down to get drunk and party with Shamu. Like, who are you? just it's way cheaper to get drunk at home or go to a bar. It's different. It's like a different mindset. You know, a beer too is one thing.
If you go to the smoking lounge, you'll know why.
You could get your answer to that question if you ask that same question of people who go to sports games.
Yeah.
Well, but I think
no. It's the same
even a
thing.
little bit different than a theme park. You know, I don't know. Like, when I go to a sports game, no, I don't want to deal with drunk people either. But to me, like, it's a different vibe. Like, I don't know. I'm not going. Who's like, you know what I want to do? I want to get wasted on $20 hurricanes and then go meet Stitch. Like, I get tripping and going to an amusement park. I know people who've done it. But they're usually doing that at home and then going there. $20 drinks at Disney to go meet Lilo.
Well, these two are Dodger fans, so they know what that has like, having been to plenty of Dodger games.
Also, and I had to sit and read and listen to all the comments of people when they banned alcohol at USC Trojan games at the Coliseum a few years back, and all the people crying, all the SC alumni crying about how they can't go to their football game without their beer. And oh no, it's the end of the world. I can't enjoy it. Yeah, no, I've had to listen to all those people crying about how they can't enjoy something because they can't have alcohol. And to those people I say, grow the hell up.
What I was gonna say is DCA was meant, because it is kind of more of an adult park where it was when it opened, walking around with the drinks up until Oga's. That wasn't a thing. I believe, wasn't Oga's limited too? I think Oga's was limited to how many drinks you could actually have, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. You could only order, I think it was 2. You only have 2 drinks because your time was limited there too.
It was only that. You were limited because of the amount of time you can spend there. Wait, I don't know if it was. I think you were allowed. Was it 2 drinks or you were allowed there to be an hour?
I think you were allowed to be an hour, but I think it was only 2 drinks. Michael, do you have any?
45 minutes.
Do you have any recollection of how many drinks? I think there was a drink limit too, though.
I think it was 2.
Yeah,
see, the drink limit didn't mean shit if you got the rank or tooth flight. Yeah.
No, and I get that. I get that, but you have to imagine that it's going to be the same in the Blue Bayou.
Oh yeah,
you said, oh, we're 5 years away from this happening, walking around. Yeah, but it's not yet. So you have to imagine. Yes, you can have a glass of wine, you can have a beer with your meal, and another drink, and that's about it.
Yeah,
you can't do
They're
that.
not going to give you a time limit. Your time limit is how long it takes you to eat.
Yes,
but there will be probably a drink limit. Yes.
Yeah, I would imagine that. So it isn't.
I wouldn't even be surprised at some point down the road, and they would be stupid if they didn't introduce an alcoholic mint julep, because it would be stupid for them not to.
That would be.
I was actually thinking the same thing.
Because it seems like the
alcoholic Dole Whip.
Dole Whip. Where it's one step closer to the alcoholic Dole Whip. Probably you'll find the alcoholic Dole Whip in the Blue Bayou first. It's not really the place for it, or they'll figure out a way to have it at the little bar thing that they built over there by
It has been so long, I can't even remember. Yeah, there you go, the Hideaway.
Tropical Hideaway.
Yeah, it has been so long since I've been there. The names of places are escaping me. That's sad. That's just sad that I'm like, what's the name of that place? It's been
getting old, yo.
In fairness, that place was new, so. I think I've only been over there twice.
Oh,
so
no, I've been there multiple times. But I was there at the park, quite often. I don't have a problem with it, honestly. I don't have a problem with them serving alcohol there with the meal. And I think it's going to be really like, okay, your time, the number of drinks. You can limit the number of drinks that you enjoy with your meal, and that's fine. It's the ambiance in Oga is like, yeah, it may branch out a little bit, but if you think about it, Blue Bayou is really a contained place. So that's a safe place for you to do that because it really is a contained place. If you introduce that with Michael's Fried Chicken, that's an entirely different story. Where we're gonna have that over on, you're gonna have it over there with the fried chicken on Main Street. Then that's an entire different story of how they would deal with that.
No, what's an entirely different story is I don't know if you guys saw under the announcement for the Blue Bayou thing. I paused to call it a corn dog. It's a panko covered corn dog, but there's a pickle inside. There's a hot dog inside the pickle, and then there's corn dog, and then there's panko. And if that isn't bad enough, they serve it with a side of peanut butter.
That's a no. I'm sorry. And I love pickles, and I love peanut butter. I'll even like panko, but we're going to have to say no to that. I mean, I'm not going to shame anyone's food choices. So if you love it, get on with your bad self. But it's going to be a hard pass from me.
My arteries are hardening thinking about it.
Right?
This is some fair shit.
Yeah, that really is.
Pretty much. That's what it sounds like.
That really is. That's very Los Angeles.
I mean, we should be hearing about Diggs or somebody saying that they saw this at the LA County Fair or something.
Well, Orange County Fair is in person this year, so
I saw that.
Just walk on over. Right. And they can have that at Costa Mesa. So, because that sounds gross. For me personally, it does nothing for me.
That's gonna be.
That's kind of disgusting.
I just saw it and I just wanted to mention it because it really was like, what? Peanut butter? What?
Did I miss what else we wanted to talk about? We ran through a bunch of stuff.
Didn't the article say something about a new type of mint julep or
seasonal, some kind of seasonal stuff? Yeah,
seasonal. Oh, okay.
To go with the beignets.
I have to be honest. I'm not really a big fan of the beignets.
Thank you.
They sound good in theory, but every time I've had them, I just feel there are better desserts at Disney than the beignets. I mean, the mint julep.
Because they're not real beignets.
Yeah, well, and
the ones at the Jazz Kitchen are better.
That's what everyone's told me.
The ones at Jazz Kitchen are authentic beignets. The ones inside the park, and these guys have probably heard me have this rant already.
Yep, this is like the fifth, sixth time.
The ones in the park are not real beignets because when you bite into a real beignet, there isn't supposed to be a gigantic space that you could take and fill with fudge or mousse or some other thing where it would have been better if they had filled them because then they would actually taste good. But no, beignets are supposed to be fluffy and beignets are a donut.
Yeah.
You bite into a donut and expect there to be a gigantic hole in it? No, you don't. It's a donut.
Well,
a beignet is a fried southern donut, and it's just a square, and when you bite into it, it should be nice and fluffy inside, and it should be actually edible and taste good, not these, whatever these are. I've had better shitty beignets from, I think it was Popeyes or something. Somebody had these mini beignets. They weren't that good, but they were better than the beignets inside Disneyland. But yes, if you want good beignets, go to Jazz Kitchen. If you want even better beignets, go to New Orleans.
I didn't mind them at Disney, but it was all about the topping.
Yeah.
So if you give me the candy cane ones, just a mountain of freaking stuff they poured on there, I was like all about that. Because you'd have this big old pile left over after you ate the beignet, and you'd be like, okay, let me scoop this up and continue to eat it.
Yes,
it's like eating sugar.
Yeah, I just felt like there were way better Disney treats than the beignets. They didn't really do it. Now, I used to love the mint julep. I hadn't had it in a few years, so I know that they've changed it.
It's not green.
I know the color's not even the same.
Back in the day.
It tastes a bit different. I can tell you that. I drink that shit every time I'm there. And it just, I don't know if it was more sugar or what, but it's not the green mint julep that you all know.
And miss.
Now, granted, the green mint julep is not authentic. The clear mint julep is authentic. So I don't know if they're trying to make an authentic mint julep, but it's not working because there's no alcohol in it. So instead of having the old green mint julep, which actually had flavor and it tasted like something, I mean, because if you have a real, if you've ever had a real mint julep, like
The
with
alcohol
in it, it doesn't taste anything like the old yummy green mint julep. It probably tastes more like the new shitty mint julep, but that's because there's no alcohol in that one.
Well, and I didn't go to Disney for authenticity. Like, you don't go to Epcot and think you visited all the freaking world. I mean, you go there for the Disney experience, not because you really think you're going to Morocco. So, like, Disney, just bring back the green syrup deliciousness.
Yes.
And let's not try to be authentic. Like, it's Disney. I'm not there for the authenticity.
Or at least they could or at least they could do a new Coke thing and say, here, you can have the old mint julep classic but only in the Blue Bayou.
Yeah.
or
mint julep classic.
Don't they serve it? What's the one that's outside? The other restaurant?
Yeah, the window.
No. The other, no, not that one. The one across from it.
Well, the French Market.
Yeah, you can get it. You gotta get the French Market because you can get free refills on the mint julep.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, inside the French Market?
Yeah.
The actual restaurant itself?
I didn't know that. Interesting.
So I used to try to sit at the edge. And I'll just get the sides fried and just more mint julep. That's it. Oh. Sheesh. Damn, I miss the park now.
I miss the parks for just the atmosphere. Yeah. Like, somebody said today, I was watching somebody do a live stream at Downtown Disney, and they were like, well, what do you miss most? Like, what do you want to do first? And they said, I really just want to get a drink and sit down and, like, watch the world go by. And I'm thinking, that's what I liked about going to theme parks. Like, yeah, I like the rides, I like the shows, but honestly, like, sometimes just sitting there next to a body of water or, you know, next to a rock formation, and seeing the Disney cats or, you know, whatever, and just watching people on vacation, watching the dynamics of people, watching, like, at Knott's, I like how they have the crowd actors. Like, that's really cool. I wish Disney would bring that back, and bring back a lot of their entertainment, because some of us aren't planning a Disney trip to just pack in as many rides as humanly possible. Some of us go to Disney for the actual theming and to have that experience with actors and entertainers, musicians. It's like, that's the part that I liked.
Not sitting in Zocalo all night or sitting in Tomorrowland Terrace for the entire evening. I wouldn't know anything about that. Would we, Anthony?
I was going to say, Gina.
You know, there's certain people would say that people who buy annual passes just to sit at Tomorrowland Terrace and watch the bands are stupid, but I don't know who that person would be, and I don't know what kind of person would buy a Disneyland annual pass just to watch the bands. Oh, wait, I do know those kind of people.
Anyway.
Hey,
and by the way, they're stupid.
Can't argue that one.
Okay. That's an inside joke that you don't understand, Gina, but maybe Hank can explain it to you sometime.
That's us.
I was getting the vibe. I was getting what you were putting down.
We'd be sitting there and then be like, you know what? Let's go get on Pirates. Okay. Who wants to get on Pirates? I'll go. No, I'll be here. Okay. Go get on Pirates.
I have to force their asses or put a bet on them just to get them on a ride.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like, so that was the beauty of having, or is the beauty of having an annual pass to anywhere. Like, I'm considering getting an annual pass to Universal, even if I just go 4 or 5 times a year, just to have it. So then that way you're not rushed. It's like, okay, like when we go to Knott's, we'll go in the morning, we'll get a coffee, obviously pre-Rona, because now we all wear masks, but we'd get a coffee, wander around, wait a little while, see some shows, go on the train, which is like the world's slowest attraction, but a good time. You know, it's like, my husband really likes the Rocks, the geode shop at Knott's, where we take $10, go see if we got a cool rock. It's like, that's the stuff that, like, I miss, is just being able to go there when I felt like it on a Sunday morning, just to enjoy the day. And that's what I'm hoping we can get back, like that sense of normalcy. It's like, yeah, I like going on a ride too, but there's something about just sitting, like you said, just sitting in Tomorrowland Terrace, taking in, looking at bands, listening to live music, drinking a drink, and watching the world go by. And it's like, those are good times.
So I got an early morning.
I just want a Ronto rap. Sorry, go ahead.
Ronto rap.
I got an early morning text over the weekend or on Friday from Michael, who said, "Man, I woke up and this is what I see," and it was the article about the expansion.
Oh yes.
Of stuff. Now, granted, I'm going to need you guys to take point on this because I didn't look too much into it. But the clickbait article that I saw first said, "Oh, possible third gate," because everything is a possible third gate. But the expansion.
Wait. Can I just, you know how long I've been hearing about the third gate? Wait, you know how long I was hearing about the third gate before we were hearing about a second gate. You remember the second gate that was supposed to be at the Queen Mary and Spruce Goose? One of you remembers that. Man, I am just.
That's the old one.
Yeah, that's a deep cut right there.
Did anybody actually look into? I didn't look into that. I saw it. I looked at the map. Michael pointed a couple things out to me, but I hadn't actually. And I told him, you know what? I saw that. I saw a clickbait ass title that was like third
Who's
gate.
That from?
And at that point,
was it
I saw.
Walt Disney World News Today or
let's
My
not. He was gonna go there.
I didn't really research it myself so much as like it would come up in my YouTube vlogger feed because they all talked about it, like all 80 million of them. But this is what I ascertained from it. Basically, Disney's like, "Hi, we would like to expand. And now the city of Anaheim knows how important and valuable we are to your city. So why don't you think about approving this for us? Shall you?" And the city of Anaheim is now going to mull it over. So it's not anything, nothing is in the works. Nothing is set in stone. Disney is going to Anaheim, the city, and saying, "Hi, post-Rona, we're really important, right? So take a look at these plans and tell us what you think." So if the city of Anaheim, and right now the mayor of the city of Anaheim is very pro-Disney.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, go figure, right? But he's really pro-Disney, and so if it passes the city council, whatever, then at that point it would move on to the next stage, which is the environmental, like they have to go through all the environmental stuff and what it would impact. It would make a lot of sense if Disney were to expand. I don't know where they're going to put all these cars. Are we going to build like a 20-story parking structure? Whatevs.
Well, the last parking didn't work out.
Yeah. And so,
but that land is still there.
Right. And so basically, it would be like, I remember when DCA was a thing, like before that, that's where we parked. And I remember when they were talking about that second park, a lot of people didn't want it to happen. I mean, it was a long, long time ago, but I remember because I lived over there. Some people didn't want it to happen. Well, you're going to get people who want this to happen and some who don't want it to happen. But Anaheim really does need Disney. So it would be interesting. I don't think it's all going to happen, but I think some type of expansion will occur at some point.
What is this area? This is what I didn't look at. I didn't look at any of these maps very well. What area does this take over? Because I know it's their existing property, but what does it actually take over?
I believe it's the employee parking lot.
Where do they say?
It starts from the Toy Story lot, and it covers from that all the way to Catella. The whole area. Everything.
Wait, that's where they're talking
all
about
the parking.
to put the third gate is on K Lot and Toy Story.
All of that.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a they could easily take that area and then just start buying up some other businesses around it and make that area bigger. So, I mean, it's definitely possible. That area has been talked about in the past as a third gate. This isn't the first time that's been talked about. That's not even the first time in the area of me podcasting that's been talked about as a third gate. So, I mean, it hasn't been that long ago, so it's not really that surprising. Yeah, but the question then becomes then they definitely need that other parking structure over there at Pumbaa.
I'm looking at a map and I can't make any damn sense of what it's showing me.
Well, supposedly in the plans, the gate that they had over their plan, which is the community, all them scrapped it. It says on their future parking structure, so they're gonna throw that in the mix probably. If you see the one of the diagrams that they have on the site, it shows right there, right by the parking lot, the little square area that they had in the first plans that we saw. So that's what they're planning on, expecting if they open that whole section on that's supposedly the expansion connection, which I call it. So I mean that's the only way they're going to be able to do it to do that, and they're just going to do anything they can and try to milk anything and everything they can and use this, just see what they can get away with, and if they can't, then they're going to push a little bit. But I think they're going to get a good percentage of all this.
Because again, this is the most opportune time for them. Because Anaheim is hurting badly, and a lot of those businesses surrounding Disney are closing. And that's, economically speaking, Anaheim's in for a rough one. Disney can really market and monopolize on this and work it to their advantage, especially because, as I said, the mayor of Anaheim right now is very pro-Disney, and this is their time. And there's a few years ago wasn't working because Anaheim was working against them, saying, we don't need you, we're fine, you think you've got a big head, and then the Rona hits, and they were like, oh, hi, we actually do need you, come back. Okay, now we're gonna go to the government because we need you so badly. And it's a lot of the housing around there, a lot of the apartments around there, like, who's to say that that's, there's a lot of economics that goes on in Anaheim, and now's their time to shoot their shot.
So obviously none of this is approved, and none of it is even looking to go to be in any kind of plans until as early as 2023. So you've still got.
It's going to take a very long time. Like nothing. If anyone has tried to ever do anything with the city, they understand and know that it is a bureaucracy of epic proportions, and even Disney is going to have to jump through the correct hoops. So this is Disney put it out there, and of course, a lot of people who love Disney jumped on it as though it was like spoken word of God is law, and that's not what happened. Basically, Disney's like, hey, this is what we want to do. Go tell the city of Anaheim that you want it. And now the city of Anaheim, the ball is going to be in their court. I think personally that the city of Anaheim, they're pretty ripe for agreeing to a big chunk of this. Maybe not all of it, but a good portion of it. But then it still has to move on to the environmental impact. So this is not a done deal. It's not even a pre-done deal. This is one man's dream.
Well, the difference here, as opposed to the hotel and things like that, where like Disney is paying for this. This isn't in partnership with the city, which is where the hotel deal fell apart. As soon as they decided to move it, the 15 feet or 50 feet or whatever it was.
No, but the Eastern Gateway was being paid for by Disney completely, and that was still also nixed by the with the help of all of the aforementioned business owners on Catella that are probably now not even there anymore, are the same ones who cried about the Eastern Gateway and how it was going to affect them because it was going to cause a bridge, and those people weren't going to walk by their businesses that are now closed down anyways. Aww.
I think that a lot
Captain
of times,
Kids can stay closed.
Right. And I think a lot of times small businesses, we want to support small business, but we're still a large capitalist place, and we still have large corporations. And as the mom and pop places need to understand, especially around Disney, it's not a symbiotic relationship. Disney does not need them. They need Disney. And so, I would never go to that area of Anaheim if Disney didn't exist. There's literally nothing there that I want. I can go to an ice cream shop way closer to my house. So the only time that a lot of people are traveling down there is if they're going to Disney. And because Disneyland is not Disney World, a lot of people stay off property. And if you're staying off property, you're going to walk by all of those businesses
exactly
going to and from.
So I didn't understand their complaints. They kept saying, "Oh, the bridge is going to bypass us." No, it's not. People are still going to walk up and down that street all day, and you're still going to get the same business, if not more, than you would have if you had not complained and caused that Eastern Gateway to break down. Yeah. So it's like, it's really dumb. You guys are stupid. And then now you're paying the price. If you would have allowed the Eastern Gateway to open, I mean, we still would have had Corona. That wouldn't have, who knows, maybe some butterfly wings thing in the Eastern Gateway would have kept Corona from happening. I don't know, but it's just, you know, it's just that, you know, it's no matter what, those businesses ended up getting screwed. Instead, they just screwed themselves over. And when they could have gotten more business or something like that in the interim anyhow, because the Eastern Gateway would have probably have opened by the time Corona, if it would have been allowed to go through.
And that's a really good, like, talking point for Disney to get more support. Disney is a home park for the most part, right? Well, if they expand, it's going to make them bigger, and we're going to get more, maybe even Western states or from the Pacific coming to Disney instead of bypassing us and going to Disney World. Again, Disneyland, nobody wants to stay at those hotels are astronomically expensive when you can easily just stay like across the street in the Best Western. So Disney can have that conversation like, oh, hey, if we expand, we're going to get way more, we're going to get a lot more tourism, and that's only going to be helpful for you.
And I thought a wild thing, and it probably will never happen, it would be awesome, and it would be the perfect opportunity for them to do it if they had a third gate, a Fox Park.
Oh, so like we want Mashland or what?
Yeah. Sure. You know what I mean.
This guy gets Anastasia.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I do.
I mean, you have all those properties. It's like, well, you have several properties that are like perfect for theme park atmospheres. You could even do a couple different lands, you know, and it could be an adult park. The adult park that DCA never really turned into, other than the fact that they have alcohol. They could, you know, you can have Alien. You could have, I don't know what else. Die Hard. No, I don't know.
No,
Aliens.
Die Hard would be the Christmas overlay.
I could do. You could do a whole. You could do a. I could probably. It'd really be cool to. You could do a whole park around Alien. That would never happen. But I mean, come on. That stuff like that. It needs to be done, and that would be the perfect opportunity for them to do a third park. They've done everything in Florida has been. It's been done. They can't replicate what's in Florida because that would be dumb. It's like, what are they going to do? Are they going to bring the whole entire Avatar land and put it there? That would be stupid.
It looked almost like they were going to do like a Peter Pan, like Neverland section. And I was like, I don't know if it's now is the right time to have a Peter Pan section. Because
Frozen got thrown out there too.
Yeah.
I did hear that.
You know, now if the Rona did anything, it showed that people are willing to go to a downtown Disney Springs version, you know, like how they have in Florida, they have Disney Springs. If they even could expand the shopping or put in more Disney specific stores, and just even expanded downtown Disney a little bit, I still think that would even get a lot of foot traffic in. Maybe expand, here's an idea, expand downtown Disney into the neighboring areas and incorporate more of the local businesses into that shopping district and make it feel safer, because people feel safe at Disney. And I don't know if you've been to downtown Anaheim, but I wouldn't exactly call it like a really safe area.
No, I actually said, and I don't know if Dan or Michael remembers me saying this a couple of years ago, I said that it would actually be a really good idea for them to expand downtown Disney to, it could be the size of the Disney Springs, because if they expand it across the street and take over,
Garden Walk.
Yeah, Garden Walk, and redesign that to be part of downtown Disney. And then also, then I think at the time I'd also talked about taking over part of the parking lot and making that a big old thing over there. Also, you could have a gigantic network of downtown Disney going, and then put sky bridges and shit connecting, and then you can do like you do in downtown or Disney Springs, and where you could walk, or even City Walk in Florida. I don't know who's been the City Walk in Florida. It's very expansive because it's connected, and kind of like the way that it's kind of plugged into different places is really neat, better than our City Walk, I think. But yeah, they could have done something like that, and they still can, even if they put a third. This is your way to connect to that third gate, is by taking over Garden Walk and connect your downtown Disney to over there, and then you create a sky bridge over on that side that leads to the other park. And then that part of downtown Disney becomes your hub in the same way that the end of, the same way that it does at like City Walk, or even, like it does now, but then you can go have one end and the other.
Yeah, I would like, I personally, like, I love Orange County. I've grown up here, my whole life was here, and I would love to see Anaheim get better. And I personally feel that Disney, though they're a corporation, whatever, I really feel Disney is a positive thing. Do I feel that they have some downfalls? Yeah, of course. Obviously. Every company does. But I think that Disney is a positive to Anaheim, and that if they worked with the city and the city was willing to work more with them, Disney could really bring Anaheim up. And they have tried to build upscale lofts down there and bring up a lot of the value of the properties. And so, yeah, they have a lot, there's poverty there, and there's no homes for the people who work there. And that's something that needs to be worked on. And they can work with the city and say, okay, let's look at low-income housing for a lot of our employees that is safe and not a hotel, because the hotel kids that's a big deal over there. But Disney has such an opportunity, and the coronavirus and the shutdown showed Anaheim how much they need Disney. Now's the perfect opportunity to make Anaheim better. And I really feel that this could be good depending on how they work with it. So I don't know. As of now, though, it's not what everyone thought it was on Twitter. Like, man, did I see every social media explode with Disney's expanding. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, another thing about Anaheim to take into consideration, too, is the Angels. The Anaheim actually there was a period, about a year and a half ago, when the Angels were in Anaheim, thought they were going to lose the Angels, too.
Yes.
When the Angels were threatening to go to Long Beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there was a big kind of they already had spent a lot of money on all those lofts over there by Angel Stadium, and so Anaheim had to have been sweating pretty hard. And this is after they had already turned down all of Disney's stuff, and then all of a sudden the Angels and stupid what's his name? I can't stand the
Moreno.
Yeah, Artie Moreno. He's such a piece of garbage. But then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna move the team to Long Beach," and Anaheim was shitting bricks.
And I told you when we were talking about that, I told you it would never happen. He was just threatening shit.
And people got, and he tried to capitalize when he was like the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And, as somebody who, again, born and raised in Orange County, we were Angels fans.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what we were. And Orange County is not LA County.
Yeah, Angels fans hate that.
Vastly different in Orange County. People in Orange County do not want to be associated with LA. I grew up on the border of LA, Orange County, so I don't particularly care.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir. They'll always be California Angels to me, to be honest. But
it's just ridiculous.
He doesn't even like Anaheim. When they were Anaheim Angels.
But that whole area, like Anaheim, when we were kids, Anaheim was Anaslime. Like, that's just, it was gross unless you were at Disney. And honestly, there's parts of Anaheim that's great, and then like any city, but the area around Disney, if you're not in Disney or just like maybe Garden Walk right there, I don't really want to go there. So I'm not feeling that safe. Like, I like Disney. I don't get overly excited when they announce that they're reopening to the point where I'm crying because I might see the monorail. Like, You can be just a normal person who enjoys the amusement park.
Dan's laughing already disappeared into the background.
I'm only laughing because it's true. It would be like, oh my god, the monorail!
You know what? The only way I would cry, I would cry is if they announced somehow miracle. I know this isn't going to happen, but this is my fantasies, okay? Shut up, Dan. If they announced that the People Mover was going to be active the day Disneyland opened, then I'd be like, I think I might cry.
My husband and I wanted
How'd you know what I was going to say, Dan?
Because everybody wants the People Mover and the Skyway, and I've been hearing it for years.
That was really fun, too. I remember the buckets.
Come on, People Mover.
And I have done it before. Don't understand the significance or the nostalgia for the People Mover. It's what we got on when we wanted to cool off because I wanted to see the Tron thing, and that was about it.
But that's what I loved about it. Like, I loved the fact that it was long. Like, the People Mover was long, and it was chill, and you could just, like, have a moment to decompress without a lot of stimuli. Like, a lot of Disney rides are a lot.
You got a different kind of stimuli. I'm sure people got a different kind.
But it was a change of scenery from the train.
I'm very straight edge. Like, I mean, I don't care. Like, do whatever drugs and alcohol you want. I just don't personally do them because I'm a control freak. So I'm weird that way. But, like, I know a lot of friends who get high and do all that stuff before they went. But honestly, yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like, I was always the one who drove you guys. So, like, it's cool. Like, all my friends would give me money and I drive them to places. And at least they knew they weren't going to die because I was sober. But, like, now I feel like the only real air-conditioned or calm, like, chill places at Disney, what are you going to do? Go to Small World and be harassed by little talking dolls singing to you for the entire ride? I mean,
I have napped on that ride.
It's just...
I have napped in there and I've napped in the tiki room.
Exactly. That was the point of the People Mover. It's like I said, you could only ride the train so much. That's why the People Mover was good, because it wasn't the train.
All right, I'll give you that.
And I really liked the sky, like, back in the day when you got on at Fantasyland and you went across the park. Like, I can still, like, close my eyes and imagine myself sitting in that stupid bucket with my dad and my sister and, like, staring at everybody and thinking, I can spit on them. Because, you know, that's what we did, because we were horrible children.
Speaking of the train, we're way off the rails. I don't know how this got all over the place.
That's all right. We're pretty much done. So
yeah.
That's how you...
I think I was going to ask you if you wanted to say anything about Winter Soldier. Have you seen Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good. I mean, what else can I say? Have you seen it?
I have. Oh. Have you guys seen Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I just wanted to get your thoughts about Isaiah Bradley. Had you heard of him before? Or was he a kind of like one of those things, I know that's supposed to be somebody, but I don't understand it.
Isaiah Bradley, you have to... Who was...
The guy, the old man that they go to see.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, that was that comes from a story from the early 2000s. It was called Truth. In which it chronicles the story of the actual first Captain America, who was a young black man who they recruited, quote unquote recruited, who basically became the first black superhero by becoming the first Captain America. And but then, you know, things being history, he was treated shitty, and of course they had to introduce. He was just a guinea pig to then lead the way for Steve Rogers.
Interesting.
So that's the setup for that. Is that I don't think that origin is the same. It seems from the dialogue that he was created after Steve.
Yeah, time-wise doesn't match up because he said something about Korea.
Well, but that doesn't mean anything because Steve would have served in Korea had he not went under ice.
That's true.
So. I mean, Steve would have been serving forever as long as he was around. So
no, but I mean, from Steve serving in World War II.
You have to think about the military, though. If they have this guy, they lose their A Captain America, and then they have to fall back to the guys that they didn't really want to use. So they're falling back to those guys. So you have to figure that that's why they did have to be present in service. So
okay,
but yeah, it's an interesting. Thing that they're introducing that, and we'll see what kind of, because it seems that there's a lot of emphasis on race and stuff in this series. So we'll see where that goes. The whole scene with the bank was very enlightening, and I guess a lot of people up in the main offices at Marvel kind of opened their eyes at that scene. You know, the one I'm talking about with
trying to get the loan.
Sister, when they're trying to get the loan. So
well, even the one on the street where the kid called him Black Falcon. He's like, "Why did you call me that? Because I'm black." Yeah, and he was like, "Well, yeah." He's like, "Oh, so I should just call you Black Kid because you're a kid." Like, I mean, it was funny, but you saw it. Now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, it's there. It's there.
Right.
There's some definite that, and then the whole mental health thing because of the therapist with Bucky. So it's a different type of watch, and I like how they throw in the moments of comedy between the two characters. Because because people always be like, well, it's kind of buddy cop. No, it's not really buddy cop, but they do have their moments together, where they have it's two people that are very different, that have something in common, being Steve, who are trying to get along, so they do have their moments of comedy.
Right. And keep in mind that well, this seems like a contrast after having watched the wackiness and deepness of WandaVision. Keep in mind, this was actually supposed to come first.
Yeah.
This was supposed
I forgot
to come
about
out,
that, but you're right.
This was supposed to come out in August of last year, but because of production delays, it ended up getting pushed, and then Wanda ended up coming first, because it was really supposed to go this in August, and then Wanda in December or January. So they just ended up leaving Wanda basically where it was, and then pushing this to after. So now we're going to get that boom, boom, boom of Loki right after this. And I actually read an article the other day, because the problem is that Marvel is kind of almost screwing themselves over by having these series almost on schedule, but their movie slate is almost completely a year behind, because it was pointed out that we were supposed to get Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in this month or last month. This month, March. We were supposed to get it in March. It was supposed to
haven't
come
even
out
seen
already.
Black Widow yet.
We haven't even seen Black Widow yet, but we were supposed to have watched WandaVision and then go right into seeing what happens with Wanda in Doctor Strange. But now we have to wait until a whole entire year before we see what happens with that. And then so everything's pushed back a year. So that makes, we're going to watch these shows and then kind of have to wait a while before we see whatever the payoff from the shows is going to be, whether it be Wanda, whether it be Sam and Bucky, or whether it be Loki and Owen Wilson.
Okay. So that's where we're at. I think that's a good spot. We talked about a lot of stuff going on there. Yeah, I think that's it. Anybody last words for anything before we kind of take it from there?
I hope the tickets are not expensive.
Yeah. Hopefully, and actually, now that as we record this, it's the last day of March, which means I got to go finish watching Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah, I got to watch that.
Yeah, but we should hear, I would think within the next week or so, how tickets are going to go on sale. Because, the next time we talk, we'll talk about how much of a mess getting tickets to opening of Disney is going to be. Because that's what I fully anticipated to be a huge mess. Of everybody trying to get stuff. So we should hear for most of the parks, within the next week or so, we should hear things for tickets from most of the parks.
I'm going to try to get tickets to Universal. I'm not going to try to do it for like opening weekend or anything, but I am going to go on. They start selling tickets on the 8th. I put something in my phone to like go on there. So I'm going to try. I wasn't a pass holder or anything, so I'm going to see if I could just get 2 tickets to go to Universal for sometime in May or June. Because I would like to go. We were supposed to go before everything shut down, and we didn't get the opportunity. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Sounds good. Unless you got anything else, call it.